Redeemer. Armed with numerous devastating long-range rockets, the Redeemer was designed to deliver judgment from afar. This warjack carries an ample supply of Protectorate manufactured explosives and a mechanical rig to launch them. Borrowing technology developed for the Repenter's ignition system, the Redeemer uses vented heartfire to light the propellants. The simple rockets are launched in great number into the enemy ranks to explode in a cascade of deadly debris that leaves survivors with horrible lacerations and extensive burns that are notoriously difficult to heal. The Redeemer can deliver devastating salvos of rocket fire, though the inaccuracies of its weapon usually spreads the projectiles across a wide area. It wields a brutal mace for close fighting. In the earliest decades after the production, the Redeemer was instrumental in expanding the borders of the Protectorate into the east and south. It was often employed against the rugged and determined bands of Idrian holdouts who refused to convert. Since that time, the warjack has been more actively turned against Signar and other enemies of the Protectorate. Deploying to support both border defenses and active assaults abroad, many Signarans still wait hopeful for long-lost kin, not knowing their bodies lie unrecognizable in the battlefields, torn apart by the Redeemer's fire. And the Redeemer, the original rockets from the Repenters, were incredibly inaccurate, and back in the day in Mark III, having your AoE not sure where exactly it's going to land caused all sorts of chaos all over the battlefield, which in certain aspects was kind of funny if you're not involved in those battles, because you'd never know where they're going to land, because even if they shoot at somebody they think they're going to hit, it's just going to go wildly off. So or it might hit directly, you never know. That's what creates the Repenter's rockets on the Redeemer. As a fun little side note, definitely not a sniper rifle by any means. But let's read his stats. He is a height of 9 feet 10 inches. His initial service date was a 545 AR. His weight is 4.85 tons. His general use, or his fuel load, is 385 pounds. His general use is 5.5 hours. And his combat use, 75 minutes. And he has the Skyhammer rocket pod and a battle mace. And his cortex is manufactured by the vassals of Menoth. Let's read over his stat line and see what interesting things the Redeemer has that they fixed. Maybe they made him more accurate. Maybe they actually got like the Code Orange aiming system and it got better after they took over parts of Lael and they got some of the newer upgrades. But let's find out. And I'm pretty sure they probably got better upgrades, because in Mark IV, since AoEs are no longer a thing, having inaccurate rockets probably is not a thing anymore. But let's find out. We're going to start with his stat line. He's a speed 5. He is a mat 6. He is a rat 4, so pretty abysmal rat. Defense 12, armor 17. He has trample, he has headbutt, he has dual attack, so he can make both his range attack and melee attacks in the same activation. He doesn't really have any abilities because he is pretty much a straight up gun platform. And yes, as I mentioned, we're going to start with the Skyhammer weapon. And this weapon's pretty devastating on range. It is still a rat 4. It is a range 16, rate of fire 1, AoE 2, so he can hit 2 models within 2 inches. It's a POW 12 6 weapon, so it's not craziest. Looks like they did remove inaccurate, as I mentioned, so we don't have to worry about those things flying wide. So he no longer gets a -4 to its attack rolls. But they did add a additional ability called Reload, which makes him even more fun. This model can spend focus or fury points to make up to 2 additional range attacks with this weapon during its combat action, and it can make 1 additional attack for each focus or fury spent. So he can shoot up to 3 times now at a range of 16, and a rat of 4, he's not going to hit much, but even then, if you're just trying to take out low armored solos with even missed attacks, it's still a very, very useful weapon. And 3 range attacks is insane for anything that's not a large jack. So yeah, you want to have this guy in your army if you're just trying to shoot a bunch of guys or clear a bunch of enemies off the back lines. So his melee weapon includes a battle mace, a mat 6 range 1 POW 13, which I always find it kind of funny, since this guy is like more of a range guy, that he has a higher mat than he does a rat. Very funny to me. But at a POW 13, he's still swinging some pretty decent damage in melee. He does not have the ability to shoot outside of melee, unfortunately, but of course the rockets being, no longer being inaccurate are still a huge bonus to this guy. So you want to keep him back if you can keep him back, and just rain death from above however you want to with the Redeemer. So very, very dangerous. I'm glad he got a huge improvement from his original. A little less, comical with the scattering of shots, but that's how it goes in Mark IV.